Good afternoon and welcome. It is Monday, April 14th, 3:30 p.m. And you have landed at Pat's Stamping Place. And I am Pat Mayer, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ohio, the northeast part of Ohio. So let me know if you are here and I will get started. Let me just check, make sure everything is working, charged, and all plugged in. Okay, let me look up here, that's working. Okay, I don't see anybody here yet, so I'll just chat for a minute and see if anybody hops on. I know it's a busy week. We're beginning the start of the week before Easter. And hello, Shirley, welcome, you're here, so that's always good to know. As I said, this is the week before Easter, and it's also Passover, so I welcome anybody to join in on this busy time of the year. And I hope wherever you are that it's good weather. I think it's warm out there today. And just a few minutes ago, I guess I got my lawn mowed for the first time. I heard the people out there mowing the lawn. In my world, it's a little bit too muddy, but it's a lawn mowing service and they got to do their job. So hello, Rose. Glad you could join in. Okay, I am going to go ahead and get started. And if you read the preview, I think that only shows up on Facebook, I guess. I'm doing an Eclipse card today. And that just came back into focus a week ago. Was it last Wednesday, I think? Whatever. The 8th, whatever the 8th was the eclipse a year ago, the total eclipse. And we here in Northeastern Ohio were part of that total eclipse. And it was really kind of a once-in-a-lifetime event, at least for me. So I'm going to switch you down to my desktop and show you the one card that I made already and zoom in. An eclipse means it just, let's get here. It just is flat and then it just pops up and it gives that effect of something happening. So it's not like the moon or the sun, but it just pops up in different layers. And I just love this beautiful butterfly set. And this will make a great time to celebrate for weddings, birthdays, graduations coming up. So let me show you how to do this if you've not made one. Let me know if you have made one before. Can be done with circles. Let's see, let's get make sure I'm here so you can see everything. Circles, rectangles, you can use any die cut, or you can even cut, I guess, to make it. But I'm going to do a purple one today. And the designer paper that I'm using is this beautiful bouquet, B-O-K-E-H, pronounced bouquet. And I've used this before on other designs. We've got some Calypso Coral and Balmy Blue, Berry Burst, the Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight, and Fresh Freesia. And I'm using the Fresh Freesia today. And I have another one to show you too. So I'm kind of in a purple mode. And I'm also going to use, excuse me, and bring back a product that we no longer sell. So I guess you could say it's retired because we don't even sell it anymore. And that is the Stamparatus. I still think it is superior to other stamp positioners on the market. And I do have a Misty, and I know a lot of demonstrators have switched over to using the Misty because it is a product that is available, even though it's not from Stampin' Up. But from time to time, I'm going to use the Stamparatus. And the process is the same. it gives you the opportunity to stamp over and over again to get a good crisp image. So regardless of which model or product you use from whatever company, the process is the same. So here is our big butterfly, and it's sticky, so it's photopolymer. So there is a piece of foam under here. Without the foam, it would be used for the red rubber stamps. So I'm going to put this down here, kind of where I want it to go. And then I bring this door, for the lack of a better word. Now, since it's sticky on the photopolymer, I'm going to stick a bone folder under there to hold that paper down because I don't want it to move. Hello, Janice. Welcome. I know that you just subscribed last night, so it's good to see you. So I'm sticking that down there. I want to make sure this stays. So I've got a magnet here, and I'm going to pull this other magnet over here too. Now, before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and stamp from my stamp set, and this has the time to celebrate in it, and I'm going to stamp that with Berry Burst. Janice, where are you in Canada? That is a big, big country, and I love it. My granddaughter is from Canada, married to my grandson. But they live in Texas. So I'm putting time to celebrate down here. So if you've not used a stamp positioner before, and I'll just refer to it as a stamp positioner, you stamp over here. Now I'll show you two different ones. The first one I did not use the stamp positioner. And if you don't get a good crisp image, that's why you want to go back over on top of it again. And you'll notice that I've got some ink up here too. That will not affect this. That's what's nice about it as well. So I'm going to push this down here. Now I'm not going to stamp real hard the first time, so you can show and see why I need this. So I still don't want it to stick. Okay, so you can see what happens. That's too much zoom. And I didn't get a good image here. I didn't get a good image here. And without this tool, I would probably throw the paper away because it would be really hard to get it lined up again. Okay, you're in Soooo, if I pronounce that right, Ontario. A bigger joy, 3 hours from your favorite, oh, you're over from Duluth, Minnesota. Okay, holidayed there since you were kids and now as adults. That's exciting. I love Canada. She is from Ottawa, but she went to school and got her degree in the States, her undergraduate degree and her graduate degree in Texas, and that's where she met my grandson. And they are both there. So now that's getting a little bit better. So I'm going to add a little bit more ink here. And sometimes you can take one of your blocks and push that down. And if you have an ink pad that's not real juicy, that could mean that you need to do it more often. I think this should be good enough. Okay, a little bit more right there and right there. That should do it. Okay, that's good enough. So until I get ready to do the envelope, that is the that's all the stamping that I'm going to do. But let's clean this off. This is also helpful if you're doing a mass production of a lot of the same card, and you can do this over and over and over, and then go on to your next step and just keep going. As long as you have some grid paper, or you know exactly where you're going to lay your paper, then that stamp doesn't have to move. You can just keep going and going and going. And actually, it's kind of designed to go up against the corner. Let's zoom out now. So that it won't move as easily. But this is a bigger stamp, and I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of pressure there in the center. So I'm going to leave that on there and put this aside, because that's all for that. Okay, now the next step is to make our layers that will allow this to pop up. I also have a piece of basic white that is 11 by 4 1/4. It's scored at 5 1/2, and that's going to go on there. Now, that would be a perfectly beautiful card with some embellishments on it, but I want to make it special. So I have taped together the largest square and the third largest square from Stylish Shapes. And that's going to go right there. So I'll have 3 pieces when I step away and come back. So I'm going to run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Peel this away. And again, if you're doing a lot of these, you might just want to keep this together. And now the next part is really, really easy. So the first layer goes down flat using a liquid glue or an adhesive of your choice. So I've got our liquid glue here. So it's so easy to take kind of a plain card and make it a wow. So I've cut this 6 by 6 paper from the beautiful bouquet down to the same size as the card base, which is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Okay, no more glue needed. And I'm using, haven't used these in a while, the foam adhesive sheets. These are the same as dimensionals, but make a project like this so much easier to just add strips of this. So I save all little strips from these 5x5 sheets. I think they're 5x5. Well, how about 4 9/16 by 4 3/8? That's pretty big. So it's just like a sheet of dimensionals. So on this piece, you want to make sure that they stay in the same direction so you don't get them mixed up. I'm going to add some strips of the adhesive sheet. And so when I cut those down, I just keep them in this little Ziploc bag, so I always have a piece if I need it. And it's double-sided, just like our dimensionals. And they're also good if you're adhering. Sorry, I can't glue and talk at the same time. If you are adhering teeny tiny pieces, you can cut this very thin, and then it can be a little bit thinner than a Stampin' Dimensional. So I think I need to probably put something else up here. But let's get the 4 sides done first, because you don't want this to collapse on the card at all. So let's put another piece here, because sometimes the dimensionals can be too big and they'll show outside of your project. Okay, I'm going to take another little piece and put here, I think. So the first layer is flat, and then you have one layer of either dimensionals or the adhesive sheets. So I'm going to layer this back in here, and remember, these are pretty sticky and non-forgiving, so make sure you get it where you want it to go. Okay, ooh, I am inky today. So that goes there. Now this is what's left, and this is why the adhesive sheet is really a good idea, because rather than put a whole bunch of dimensionals on here so it doesn't collapse, I can take a whole piece of this that's about that big, and it really gives it some good support. Another good use of the adhesive sheets is if you have, you grab a piece, if you have a die that you want to be popped up that would be very difficult to get dimensionals on, or even pieces of this, you can put, let's say you wanted to punch something out of designer paper or cardstock. You can put it right on this, then run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and then you already have your dimension on the back of your die cut. So that's another good reason to have these on hand. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this off. You want to make sure you take off the release paper. And then I'm going to double this up. So I'm going to put another piece on top because I want it higher than this one. So I'm going to put that here, and I will need another little piece there. So there's no waste. And cut a little bit of that off. Excuse me. So there's another piece that can be used on another project. So now I've got my double layer. So that's really thick. Now you can also do this in reverse. Rose, I had written down that they were $8, but I think that was last year's price, and I forgot to look it up. So they may have gone up to 10 this year, or they may have stayed the same. I'll see if I can look that up again. Actually, I couldn't find them in the catalog. So they're somewhere around $8. And then you just pop this in and align it with the rest of the stamp. And now it pops up. It really is a wow card. I will give you the code number on that, Rose. 152815, and you could plug that in and see. Since I have all my devices here, I can't look it up while we're online. So there we've got the card, but it needs to have some bling. Okay, as everything falls on the floor. So let me save all these little pieces. Somebody else outside must be mowing. It must be a good day. It was supposed to get up to 73, and I've not checked the weather. But I'm sure tired of the cold that we've been having. Okay, I'm going to take my Berry Burst. This was Berry Burst. Stampin' Right marker. And do a little bit of splatter on here. I like to splatter. Adds a little bit to the card. And where did my wink of Stella go? Okay, here's a wink of Stella. Thank you, Janice. It's fun, easy to do. So I've got my wink of Stella here. I think this still has some goodness in it. And tap with a bone folder. You get some little sparkle there. That's not coming out. That might be a bad one. This is something that I can see. You probably can't see it very well, but it really does add a lot to a card. And of course, you can always color with it too. But now I'm going to add some other bling. And just pull out the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. They've been around forever. They're good on any card. You can also take a Stampin' Blend and color these as well. Just use my scissors, and I'm going to take a couple of the medium-sized ones and put those on the butterfly body. And take a couple of the small ones and scatter around here. Let's see, let's put one up here. And one over here. So they're kind of in a triangle, not counting the two there in the center. And let's see, I think it slid away. Okay, I want to put a piece on the inside. So when I cut this down, about a 1/2 inch. So that adds just a little bit of extra on the inside. Trim that off. And then here's another stamp from the set, just a regular little butterfly. We'll put that in there too with Berry Burst. Kind of out of flower range or camera range there, and I messed that up, but it looks like maybe the butterfly is flying, so I'm going to leave that just the way it is. And also grab an envelope and decorate the envelope as well. Okay, so there we have the envelope. Did I leave the inside layer? Okay, this is just the plain card base here, if I'm answering your question correctly. Yes, without a layer. And then this was directly onto the card base front, and then these two pieces popped up. So I hope that answered your question there. So there is that one, and let me show you some others I did. This is just so easy to do. Just if you change colors, all you need to do is clean your stamp and you're ready to go. So here's this one. Here is a blue. This is Balmy Blue, and this is Misty Moonlight. I like that one a lot. Here are two more with the Fresh Freesia. And this one, I think I did not use Berry Burst on this one. I think I used, I put it away. Oh, melon, I think, nope, that's not melon mambo. Okay, I did use berry burst on this one, but it's not as dark. There were some lighter spots there. I may not have used the Stamp-A-Jig on that one. I did that yesterday. Here's another one. This one, you can probably see a lot of the spattering of Wink of Stella. Now, let me show you the difference. This one uses dimensionals, and I did say that the adhesive sheets were the same as dimensionals, but they're, because it's thicker, it just seems a little bit higher than this one does. So I like the ones that are done with the adhesive sheets. And these others were done with dimensionals before I decided and thought, I can use adhesive sheets. Now here's one done with different paper. This was done with the Everyday Skies. So that one is a little bit different, still picking up those same colors. Now here's one that I did. This is with double, this has adhesive sheets in it, that I used the You Are Remarkable stamp set. A little bit different there, using the Daffodil Delight paper. No sentiment on that one yet. And then this one I played around with, thinking that it would work, I'm not sure. And I used Spotlight on Nature. And on this one, I popped up the base layer. So this one is popped up. This one has one layer of dimensionals around there, and then this one is flat. This one has none. So it doesn't really give you the effect of these others, but I wanted to try something a little bit different. Yeah, this one I used adhesive sheet strips on this layer here, and then regular dimensionals here, and then flat here. So it's okay, but that's how we kind of play around and learn and make mistakes, what you want to do and what you don't want to do. So that's it for today, and I wish you all a wonderful Easter or celebration of Passover, and just have a great rest of the week. And looking for, let's get back over here again, looking for some great weather. I know people have things planned for the weekend with Easter egg hunts with their families. So it's going to be a great week, whatever we have. So take care, have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next Monday at 3:30. Thanks so much for being